Hello dear students, myself Dr. Sachin Gurule, Assistant Professor from Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nasik. In the previous video of Subject Animal Diversity 3rd of Chapter 2nd, that is Introduction to Group Protochordata, we are learning the subphylums of the Acrania or so-called as the Protochordata. And we have already studied the two subphylums, that is the Hemichordata and the Urochordata. And in this lecture we are going to learn the third subphylum of Protochordata, that is the Cephalochordata. Okay, so subphylum of the Acrania or the Protochordata. Obviously now you know that on the basis of position of notochord, this group Acrania, so called as a Protochordata, is divisible into the three subphylums: the Hemichordata, Urochordata and the Cephalochordata. So of which we have already learned this Hemichordata and the Urochordata. So let's see the star features of the Cephalochordata. First of all, this cephalochordate is a small group of the fish-like acraniate organism, and which are commonly known as the lancelets, because if you see the shape of this organism, they are resembles with that of the blood lancets. They are rarely 5 centimeter in length, means comparatively these are the smaller organism, and their notochord is extend the entire length of the body, and this notochord is persist throughout the lives. Now these lancelet, they live partly buried in soft marine sediments. So these are the star features of the cephalochordata. So let's see in details. Now that word cephalochordata is coming from the Greek origin and is divisible into the cephal, means head, and chorda, means the cord. It refers to the notochord that occurs in this organism. We start from the head and it goes up to the tail, and it is a persistent one, and hence they are referred as the cephalochordates or the cephalochordata. Okay, the characteristic features of this group is the notochord or nerve cord is present throughout the life, which is very important one. Here the notochord and the nerve cord is there, which is persist throughout the life along the entire length of the body. So if we see the other phylums we have learned in the Hemichordata and the Urochordata, the notochord is restricted at a certain stages of their life cycle, or it is restricted to the certain regions of the body. But here in case of this cephalochordata, the notochord and nerve cord is present along entire length of the body and is a persistent one. So this is a most characteristic feature of the cephalochordates. Then second characteristic, that is the cephalochordates are marine organism. They are broadly spread into the shallow waters, means they are the organism which are living into the shallow waters of the marine habitat. If you see the body is small, is a slender, transparent, and the fish-like body, and it is adapted for burrowing and the swimming. Burrowing in the sense they are usually makes a burrow into the sandy bottoms of the seas, and when they comes out of the burrow, they swim with the help of whatever fins which are present on their body. So next characteristic feature, if you see the body, their body is divisible into the trunk and tail, is because of the head is absent in this organism, means there is no distinct head, and due to the absence of that head, the body is having only two segments, that is trunk segment and the tail region. The head and their paired appendages are completely absent, means there are no paired appendages, there is no head in case of these cephalochordates. Then median or unpaired fins, which are known as a dorsal fin, ventral fin and caudal fin, all these unpaired fins are present. So if you see this diagram, so this one is a very small dorsal fin, it reaches up to the tail region. Then this one is a ventral fin, and this one is a caudal fin. So with the help of this median or the unpaired fin, they are able to swim into the marine water. Means the unpaired fin, so called as a median fin, such as a dorsal fin, ventral fin and caudal fin. All these fins are absent, which is useful for the locomotion, that is swimming. Then there is no exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is lacking, means there is no exoskeleton like a scales or hairs that are completely absent. And if you see the body, their body wall is comprises of only single layer epidermis. Means they are having a simple outermost body wall which is made up of only a layer of a single epidermal cells. Then muscles of dorsolateral regions, they are very thick one, and these shows a metameric segmentation and forms a V-shaped myotomes or the myomeres. So here in this diagram you can able to see or recognize somewhat V-like V-shaped structure is there. This one is, and this is referred as the myotomes, or they are also referred as the myomeres. Now actually these myotomes are the group of muscles innervated by a ventral root, a single spinal nerve. So this is referred as the myotomes, or they are also referred as the myomeres, which are again the characteristic feature of this organism. Then if you see the coelom is enterocoelous organism. Now obviously these chordates are the enterocoelous. It is reduced in pharyngeal region by the development of atria. Now enterocoelous coelom, in the sense here the coelom is originated from the early separation of the few cells belongs to that mesoderm, which are going to form a pouch, and this pouch is get separated, and then that pouch is responsible for forming a body cavity, so called as a coelom. Such a kind of the development of the coelom we call as the enterocoelic organism, and the coelom is referred as enterocoelous. So this organism has a enterocoelous coelom which is reduced particularly at the pharyngeal region. This is due to the development of the atrium. Then if you see the alimentary canal is a complete one. The pharynx is large and is perforated by a numerous gill slits. So here you can see, so this is a pharyngeal region, and this pharyngeal region is perforated by a numerous gill slits, which is another characteristic feature. Then respiration of this organism is occurs through a general body surfaces. Now most of the organisms who are living into the moist environment or in the aquatic environment, when the skin or the body wall is a very thin, in many organisms if such a condition is qualified, then they always shows a presence of respiration with the help of skin. That can be referred as the cutaneous respiration. That is the respiration by general body surface. So this organism is also having a same kind of the condition. The body surfaces helps in them into the process of respiration also. Then circulatory system is well developed, is a closed type, means vessels are there, but heart and respiratory pigments are absent. Hepatic portal system, but it is developed one. Hepatic portal system is there. Circulatory system is closed type, but there is no heart or there is no pigment in their blood, which is again a characteristic one. Then hepatic portal system is present. As far as the excretory system is concerned, it includes the paired protonephridia. Again that protonephridia, these are the basic most kidney of the chordate organism, and these protonephridia, these are provided with a solanocytes. Now these you can see, so these are the solanocytes and their branches of the solanocytes. Now actually solanocytes are the flagellated cells. Flagellated cells in the sense they are having a flagella which are associated with the excretion, osmoregulation, ionoregulation in case of the cephalochordates. These solanocytes are concerned with the excretion, osmoregulation and regulation of the ions. and these are the flagellated cells having a branches which is known as the solanocytes. Now these are the cells which forms the subtypes of the protonephridium along with the other type of cells, for example the flame cells, and hence the excretory system is provided with the paired protonephridia, and that protonephridia is having the solanocytes which are the flagellated cells. The next characteristic feature, the nerve cord is dorsal and it is a tubular. So this is a dorsal side of this organism in this diagram you can see, and this notochord and the dorsal nerve cord is lies at a dorsal side and it is a tubular one. The brain and ganglion are absent, means there is no brain. Ganglion are also absent. The dorsal and ventral nerve roots are separated. The next characteristic feature, the sexes are separate in this organism. If we see the previous subphylums of this Protochordata or Acraniata, we have seen that most of the time hermaphrodite condition is there. Means single individual contains both the organs of the male and the female. But here the sexes are separate and the gonads are the numerous. So here you can see, so this one is a male individual and this one is a female individual. So they has a numerous gonads, which is again a characteristic feature in this group, which are metamerically repeated and they are without gonoduct. Gonoduct in the sense a opening through which the genital organs they are open. So there is no such a separate gonoduct. So there is no asexual reproduction, means whatever reproduction is there, that reproduction is exclusively the sexual one. Sexual in the sense there is an involvement of the gamete. The female releases the egg, then which is approached by the male by releasing the sperm, and fertilization takes place outside the body, that is the external fertilization, and after the fertilized egg the development start. Now obviously as the fertilization is external, these organisms they also possesses a indirect development via the larval stages, and the larva is a ciliated and free swimming larva. So this diagram is summarizing the life history of this organism. Here you can see the adult female and the male, they are releasing their gametes. After the fertilization which happens into their medium or outside the body, this fertilized egg is going to develop into the ciliated neurula, and then after it is going to develop into the asymmetrical larva first, and after the process of metamorphosis this asymmetrical larva is developed into the metamorphic larva, and metamorphic larva is going to metamorphose or develop into the juvenile, and that then juvenile after a proper growth they became say adult one. So this is about the silent features of this group Cephalochordata. Now as far as the examples of this subphylum is a Branchiostoma. This Branchiostoma is very popularly known as the Amphioxus. And another example of this group is Asymmetron. So these are the examples of the cephalochordate which we are going to discuss in few characters. So let's see first of all the Branchiostoma. Now this Branchiostoma is belongs to the class Lepidocardi of the subphylum Cephalochordata. The Branchiostoma, popularly known as the Amphioxus or the lancelet. Lancelet, I have already told you that if you see the overall shape of this organism is resembles with that of the blood lancelet, and hence they are commonly known as the lancelets due to they has a sharp end at both sides of their body. Now these organisms they are widely distributed fish-like burrowing marine organisms, and it burrows in the sand by its posterior end. The posterior end is buried into the soil. Anterior end is protrudes out of the sand for the purpose of feeding. Means this one is a posterior end. It is deep into the or buried into the substratum, and only this portion or the anterior portion of the body is comes out of that particular surface for the purpose of the feeding. It is more common in warmer seas like Mediterranean and especially abundant near the coast of China and Japan, where it is sold as the food also. It occurs in the Mediterranean and in northwestern Europe, in Sri Lanka, and on the sea coast of India also. Means if you see the distribution of this branchiostoma, they has a wide distribution. Then body is obviously is elongated one, laterally compressed, and most importantly it is pointed at both the end. The true head is absent. Here you can see there is no head, and hence their body is divisible into the trunk region. So trunk region is starting from here rostrum up to the this arteriopore, and remaining part is referred as the tail region. So body is divisible into the trunk and tail. Trunk bears a three opening. First one is a mouth, then second one is a arteriopore. So here this one is a arteriopore, and the third one is anus. So in this way there are three openings are there: mouth, arteriopore, and this one is a anus. It bears a three longitudinal median and unpaired fins, that is a dorsal fin, this one is a ventral fin, and this one is a caudal fin. So these fins are useful for the purpose of locomotion. Then gonads. So all these are the gonads. The gonads are 26 pairs. Means 26 are located at right side and equal amount of the gonads are present at the left side also. And they are metamerically arranged on either sides of the pharynx. This pharynx is located at the center, and just periphery to the pharynx, the gonads are arranged. So these are the characteristic features of the branchiostoma, commonly known as amphioxus. The second example is asymmetron. This asymmetron is also referred as a lancelet. Again, is they are having a tapering end or pointed end at both the side of their body, and looking like that of the blood lancelet, and hence they are known as a lancelet. Now these organisms, they are also burrowing marine or animals. They are belongs to the class Lepidocardi. That Lepidocardi is belongs to the subphylum, obviously the Cephalochordata. Now it is found in the warmer seas of the Mediterranean and near the coast of China and Japan. Now if you see the characteristic, most of the characteristic of this asymmetron is same to that of the branchiostoma. But this asymmetron is differs from that of the branchiostoma as the metapleural fold is asymmetrical one. This is the first characteristic by which they are differ from one another. And second one, whatever gonads are there, that gonads are only present at a right side. While in case of the branchiostoma, so called as the amphioxus, the gonads are present at both the side, right as well as left. But here in case of asymmetron, the gonads are only present at the right side and left side gonads are absent. The ventral fin is without fin rays. So here this ventral fin is there, which are not provided with any kind of the fin rays. So these are the three distinguishing character from which they are differ from that of the branchiostoma. And the another characteristic which differ from that of the branchiostoma is that the tail has a long caudal process. So this one is a caudal process. This caudal process is not found into the branchiostoma. So these are the few differences. That is, the metapleural fold is asymmetrical. Then gonads are present on only at the right side. The ventral fin is without fin rays and tail has long caudal processes. So these characteristics are differ from that of the branchiostoma. Rest of the characteristic of the asymmetron is exactly like that of the branchiostoma. So with this, we have completed with the subphylum Cephalochordata, and with this video we have completed the second chapter also, that is Introduction to Group Protochordata. So thank you very much.